Hi, Namaste everyone. I'm Lakshmishree. Welcome to Fresh Rise. So, the show where real people share real stories that inspires us to rise a little higher every day. So, today's story is about someone who turned curiosity into creations and failure into foundations. He's just 22 from Hyderabad and already building one of the India's most promising startup called GrubGo, reimagining how essentials move across city. So let's please welcome Akshat Varahagiri. Akshat, I welcome you to Fresh Rise.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a great pleasure getting into the show.
It's such a joy to have you here as well, Akshat. Thank you so much for coming to Fresh Rise. So let's start from the very beginning, Akshat. So, what were you? Hyderabad, if you just remember, it is a city of full of energy, innovations, and definitely
Yeah,
Hyderabadi biryani, which is really very famous. So, what kind
yeah.
of child were you growing up? Were you curious or very creative or studious or more of a dreamer type?
If you would say in simple words, I was a dreamer where I used to imagine various things and test out many things right now. And I was always a risk taker who always tried to take risk. Whether if there was a chance of being successful is 100%, like if a failure percent was 100 and even 1% chance was there, I would eventually go there and test it out. So I was that kind of a risk taker in my childhood.
Okay, that's really nice. Taking risk is really good in life. And coming to when I just saw your biodata, I just got to know that you went to Sri Chaitanya School, which is known for discipline and focus. So, did that environment shape your drive or any curiosity in any way?
uh, Not technically, but I got to know many things, like how world is outside than what you read from the books. Like what you read from the books are not true. When I came out from outside from there, I got to knew those things. So it was a bit of life changing for me. A point where
That's that's a
that
good
got into
thing.
my mind.
Very good. Okay, so were there any early signs that you would know that one day, you build something of your own?
Um, when I was in my inter, at that time I got to know like I can build something by my own
Understood.
because yeah, okay,
Yeah, please go on.
yeah. Because I thought because outside world is various opportunities, various things, but I didn't want to go with like 9 to 5 or jobs in this. So I was dreamt of building something. So finally, when I stepped into my BTech, I have built GrubGo.
Wow, that's really good. So there'll be many young listeners, watching this interview, and they'll be wondering when should we start thinking about our passion. So what is your suggestions for them?
Um, Start building if you have a even bit chance of a vision. It's never too late for getting into something new. And but make sure that you are building before coming out of a college.
That's a
That's my suggestion.
very good, nice trip. What would you tell a 15-year-old who feels unsure about their dreams right now? They don't know what exactly they need to do. So for such people,
For such people, I would say start exploring from whenever the time permits you, and choose a specific path which you feel right, and be focused on that and start building.
that's a very good suggestion. So after schools, you joined Srinidhi Institute of Science and Technology for BTech in your computer science. So
Yeah,
colleges are usually about fun, freedom, enjoyment. But for you, it just became a launch pad for your entrepreneurial mindset. So when did that
yeah.
shift happen from being a student to thinking like a builder?
Um, in my college, I was never a person who would sit in the class. I was always exploring opportunities, events, fests, and many things. But during third year, I got to know about the startup thing, incubators of our college, and so then on, we thought of problems in the market and think of it. And we also went to T Hub, which is a major hub in Hyderabad for the events. From there, it was our foundation of building this.
Wow, such a nice thought at such an early age. So, did you ever feel like college didn't prepare you for the real startup grind?
Mm, yeah, college would just could explain you the fundamentals, but it wouldn't prepare you for what you are going to come on. It's just like reading textbooks, but when you come out of there, you would know what the outside world is. So it prepared me like 50%, and after coming out, 50% we need to give to ourselves. And what we read in the college and coming out, it's a entirely different subject for you.
Very good. That's really very true. What would you tell students who want to start something but they fear of the failure or the judgment?
For those people, I would say never judge something before it is even in the market or you're launching it. Just try it out. If it fails, again try it again. At one point of it, it will be a success.
Very true. We should never stop trying. Alright,
Yeah.
so you told me that your first startup was Oblique, a clothing brand, and which didn't go as planned. So, can you take us through that journey? How it started, what went wrong, and what you learned from it?
Okay, so that startup was basically a clothing in which four of our friends we have started it, but major drawback was fragmented retail market and like heavy cost on printing, manufacturing, and getting the raw items, and it was a high capital thing for us to invest on at early. And as we everyone were from college, so couldn't afford that much, and we need to keep whole mind in that. But due to that, we had to drop it. And when I left there, I got to know the problems about the supply chain and everything. So slowly, it got me inspired to go into GrubGo.
Okay. What was the toughest part with Oblique? Seeing it fail or explaining to others or starting it again, other than cost. Is there any other thing that felt it could have been better?
Actually, it was a operational cost because in that market you have a operational cost plus various many competitors in the market. You have Mintra or
Video.
a luxurious brand Snitch and H&M and many other players you have. It's too crowded. So that was also a reason to leave it behind and get into a new one.
Understood. Can you just tell how can someone prepare mentally to face the failure and still raise from it?
Okay. So whenever if some people is thinking if it is failing or it's not working out, personally I would normally leave the work and everything for some days and travel for some days again get into it so you could come over the failure and basically your mind would distract and come with new ideas if you basically come out of your own box.
Very true. No, you need to get away from it just by traveling or whichever things you feel that which is good and which brings that enthusiasm in you.
Yeah.
So now let's move from rebirth that building GrubGo. So after Oblique, you build GrubGo, connecting the local stores to customers faster and smarter. So where did this idea come from? Is it because of that frustration or the observation or the vision?
No, actually, at 2024, we observed due to the quick commerce stores like Blinkit, Zepto, and many other quick commerce brands, many kirana stores around India were closing day by day. More than 2 to 300 kirana stores were closing due to lack of customers and this. So we thought to build something for them But at some point when we came to them, it was also a fragmented market. So slowly we thought instead of taking them, we could help them by supplying to those people. So in that way, we got into supply chain and we formed GrubGo.
Okay. Tell us about those first chotic months. How did you stay motivated? What are the initial struggles?
Okay. So our initial idea was not supply chain thing like directly delivering items to Kirana stores, but we had various challenges like getting into the logistics and pricing in there, which was not that perfect to in our Indian economy right now. So we and the people in the Kirana stores also, they were not educated well to handle phones and tech. So through which slowly we have pivoted to our B2B area and now we implemented supply chain.
Okay. Was there break moment when you almost gave up, but still you kept going?
Yeah, there was a time when we had to break. So we had to stop operations for like more than 3 to 4 months.
Oh.
Through where we went into deep research and understanding how everything works.
So what was wrong at that time?
Actually, we went for an interview in ISB to be part of their program on taking GrubGo to the next level on funding. But market research and everything were not that good and we got rejected from there. It was our first funding rejection. So from there we understood that we need a lot of research and everything. So we had to stop operations and everything for 3 months and slowly now we are here.
That's a really good thing that you restarted it. So I have seen that tagline or the GrubGo's philosophy like fast today, lasting tomorrow. Such a powerful line it is. So how did that line come to define your company's mission?
Okay. Fast today.
Lasting tomorrow.
Okay. So we wanted to build our quick commerce in not even in B2C, on B2B area also. So in B2B, no one are into quick commerce yet. So we want to make a infrastructure which will be lasting for our future generations also. So through that, we got the tagline as fast today and lasting tomorrow.
That's really good. So now let's move on to the designer's part or the builder's mind. So you are the CEO and UI UX designer, front-end developer. That's a rare combination. So how does being hands-on with design and tech helps you lead better?
Okay. So personally, before building GrubGo, I'm a UI UX designer and a product part. I had my personal area is that. So slowly after building those things, projects and everything, I got hands-on experience on them. And now slowly building GrubGo, it was tough for me to understand the CEO language and building these areas and research part.
Very true. Should all the CEOs or the founders know that product deeply, or if they have a very good vision enough about it is enough?
Actually, in this case, you need to have both the things. You need to understand the product and the vision also you need to have, because not only if you have product, but if you don't have the vision or strategical thinking, you won't be able to succeed. So you need to have both. You need to balance both things.
Well said. So what are your core principles when designing the user experience?
My core principles are it should be really accessible to anyone, clean UI, and it should represent what we are showcasing to them and tell our brand story.
That's good. How did you balance that creativity and speed?
Creativity and speed. I actually to balance those. I used to keep the schedules, timings, and divide into various time notes as well. So slowly I had to balance those. And at early stages, I used to do everything alone. At now we have like 4 people who would do those things. Like
That's really good. Planning is very much essential.
yeah,
Alright, now let's move on to the stress and balancing part. So, entrepreneurship sounds exciting, but behind it, there will be a lot of struggle, pressure, uncertainty. There can be a sleepless night as well. There will be, you can't define that. So, what's
yeah.
typical day looks like you during those time?
If you talk about typical day, for me, it would end at next day 4 a.m. or sometimes 2 a.m. It would be a building stage for me. So generally we would sleep like 4 to 5 hours basically. Again, getting up early and building things. So these are basically my schedule.
How are you able to handle those burnout or decision fatigue? How will you be able to manage that?
By basically again dividing into block of calendars and dividing time for tech different, for decision making a different time, and having a meet with the team a different time.
Understood.
So management works.
Got it. So there'll be many working professionals, even though they have stuck up with 9 to 5 jobs, they'll be having dream to have their own startup. So
Yeah.
can you give me your suggestion, like how can they take that first step without quitting everything?
Okay. Basically, they can think of an idea, build a prototype, and what they're thinking based on keeping their work beside and working on this, giving some basic time for it, not totally quitting it. And after everything is being ready, they can like pitch to some investor and give the problems. And once everything is finalized, then they can move on fully to on the startups.
Okay, what keeps you personally grounded and inspired outside the work as well?
Basically, it illumination inside me. Like if I would make some design or thing on my product, after viewing more than 3 times, I would feel something is missing. Again, I would change it again and again. So I wouldn't look on my design or product or company logo more than 2 times after I made, or else I would think again to do changes. So that make me grounded.
That's really good. You also mentioned that in the LinkedIn page I just saw that GrubGo isn't just about speed, but it's also about sustainability. So how do you balance growth with responsibility?
Okay. And balancing growth with responsibility comes with, as term I told, we are even sustainable with on packaging, basically for our brand. So what boxes we are using. We are trying to reduce the usage of plastics and moving on with paper, which are disposable easily, microfiber papers. So in those cases, we are sustainable. We are marking a sustainable startup, and even when people are coming for checkout pages to our brand, they can even untick if they want boxes or bags or not. So it will reduce the cost for us.
Understood. So what do you think that defines the next generation of Indian startup, whether speed or impact?
If you talk of now, startups are basically on speed right now. In India, if you have speed, you can build it, or else it's harder to pitch in front of them, because at now everything is going on 10 minutes delivery and 15 minutes. Not only on delivery, or any service you would provide in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you would succeed at current time.
Very true. Where do you see yourself and GrubGo in the next 5 years?
Okay. Thinking of GrubGo in next 5 years, our aim is to be a biggest sustainable startup, and we want to market as a unicorn, and one day we want to build it in that way.
Okay. Okay, so if you could write a letter to your 18-year-old self, what would you say?
Stop daydreaming or stop doing stuff which you would waste more time instead of working on that dream or goal. I would say it would be a letter for me because I wasted a lot of time in that age. So I would regret at this time. If I would start at that time, this thing would be a different story for me.
Well said. What's one failure that became your best teacher?
It was my first startup where I understood like how everything works.
And can you add one success that humbled you?
Um, Getting recognition from Startup India was our huge success from our end, and registering our company into government portals
That's really
was
good.
our success thing.
What's your message to students, professionals, and upcoming entrepreneurs waiting for the perfect moment to start?
It's never too late, or stop thinking on starting when money comes in, or I would find something. Whatever resource you would have, you can start it. That would be advice from my end.
That's a very good advice, Akshat. Alright, so your story is a reminder that it's not just age but also the mindset that defines impact. So, thank you so much for sharing your journey, like from being a curious kid in Hyderabad to the CEO of GrubGo. To all our listeners, remember success isn't about speed, it's about creating something that lasts. So, I'm Lakshmishree, this is Fresh Rise, stories that inspire. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep rising fresh. So that's it from my end, Akshat. So once again, thank you so much for coming to Fresh Rise. It was nice talking to you, and also I hope all our audience loved your thoughts and ideas. So thank you so much once again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.